Welcome back, everybody, to the Miami Marlins franchise here on MLB The Show 23. We are now into the month of August here in season number 1, and I think the plan is that we're going to have 2 more episodes here for this season, and then we're going to get through the offseason and into season number 2 of this franchise. I've got a special announcement that I'm going to share in about 2 minutes regarding the future of this series, so hang in there. It's a good announcement. I think you guys are going to like what I have to say. But as it stands now, the team is 58-61. We're into the month of August. We went through the end of July and the trade deadline in the last episode, and we made some pretty big moves. So in case you missed that one, I encourage you to check it out in the series playlist, where all other uploads in this series are located. As we go into today's episode, we've got a pretty tough schedule here rounding out August with the Astros, Dodgers, Padres, and Rays still on the schedule before this month ends, and those 4 teams are all really good. We also have the Nationals, who are not as good, but still pretty tough. So we made 3 deals at the deadline. We sold some older pieces away, and we got some young prospects who I'm pretty excited about. Garrett Cooper, who's been our most consistent offensive player, was traded to the Cubs. Johnny Cueto was traded to the Diamondbacks, but we got some nice pieces back. We acquired Jonathan Loaizaga from the Yankees along with Clayton Beeter. Davison de los Santos is an intriguing 19-year-old third base prospect. And then the best prospect we got at the trade deadline was Kevin Alcantara from the Chicago Cubs in the outfield. So the team looks a little bit different and on paper a little bit worse here, but we really focused on our long-term outlook at this year's trade deadline, although it is nice being as healthy as we've been in a while. Jazz Chisholm and Sandy Alcantara both missed some time throughout the summer months, but they are both healthy, which is great to see. And the plan is for today, we're going to wrap up August and we're going to get through the early portion of September. So we're really going to get through a month of season. Here in today's episode, we've got one quick roster move that we're going to make, and then I'm going to share the announcement that I have. So Luis Matos has not been performing at a very high level in the majors. We're going to send him back down to AAA, and replacing him in the big leagues will be Gerard Encarnacion, who got an opportunity early this year in the majors, and he was not very good. But hopefully he can do better with a second chance. So here's the announcement. So of all the major sports games that I play, at least, I think MLB The Show does the best of having players progress based on their performance throughout the season. So I've decided to take that up another notch and really focus on progression and regression based on how players play. I know some other YouTubers have done similar things. I know TNJ has done something kind of like this before, but I'm kind of putting my own twist on it. So we're going to have our studs of the year and our duds of the year. Our studs of the year are the guys who outperform expectations, and they will be rewarded accordingly. We're going to have a vote after next episode at the end of the season. We're going to pick 3 major leaguers and 3 minor leaguers. The winner of the major league and minor league vote will get +5 to their overall and potential. Second place will get +3 to both. Third place will get +1 to both. And I kind of want to do it based more on relative expectations. Like Sandy Alcantara has been our best player in the majors this year, but we expected him to perform well. So a guy like him probably will not be in the running for this. As I said, we're going to do it for the minor leagues as well. But we're not just going to reward players for performing well, we're also going to punish players for playing poorly. So just like how we're going to have our stud of the year, we're also going to have our duds of the year, and voting will be very similar. The first place loser will lose 5 to their overall and lose 5 to their potential. Second place will get -3 to both. Third place will get -1 to both. And again, we're going to have 3 major leaguers and 3 minor leaguers who are eligible. So let me know what you think of that criteria down below in the comments. I don't know if I'm doing like too much of the boost or punishment. I don't know if +5 is too much for the winner, but let me know what you think of it. I've always wanted to do something kind of like that, so I'm pretty excited about it. We're going to simulate up to this Dodgers series, and we actually take 2 of 3 against the defending champion Astros. How about that? We're going to play this first game against the Dodgers. I want to get a look at Jesus Luzardo. He obviously has not lived up to expectations this year and could be a prime candidate for the dud of the year unless he really picks it up down the stretch here through the final month and a half. And it's not going to get any easier. He's playing against one of the best lineups in baseball, albeit the Dodgers don't have Mookie Betts available today. But still, the Dodgers are really good. We all know this. And this game is on the road in Los Angeles against the Dodger faithful. Let's take a look at both lineups. Regular starters across the board for the most part today for Miami. On the mound for the Dodgers is Tony Gonsolin. The righty has developed into a really good pitcher over the last 2 years. He's got a 2.78 ERA and a 1.14 whip, and has all around been really good. The Dodgers just seem to find guys who magically grow on trees, and he's another one to the list. Jazz Chisholm up for the Marlins, and he weakly dribbles this one. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Gonsolin as he retires the side. I want to get a look at Jesus Luzardo today. He's on the mound for the Marlins. He's obviously had a pretty bad season, and again, could very well be a dud of the year candidate unless he catches fire here towards the final month and a half of the year. Freddie Freeman with a weak grounder to Groshans, and again, he retires the side as well. So nobody reaches base here in the first inning. As we go top two, Jesus Sanchez, who continues to play very well over the last couple of months. He strikes out on the 12-6 curve. Good pitch by Gonsolin as Sanchez gets completely fooled. Gonsolin may be cooking so far, but so is Jesus Luzardo, looking to retire the side once again. Muncy lines it into left center. It's caught by De La Cruz, and through 2 innings, neither team has a lot of base runner. Both teams have pitched perfect ball through the first couple of innings. Top 3, 2 away for Xavier Edwards. He swings and misses on the 12-6 curve. Another perfect inning for Tony Gonsolin, who makes it one perfect way through the Marlins order. Jesus Luzardo is looking to do the same as Andy Pages grounds it over too short. Edwards makes a great play. Segura was unable to get the diving stop at third, but Edwards throws out the runner. That'll bring up James Outman, who was a full count. That pitch would have been a walk, but he swings it and hits it well to first, but Groshans deflects it, flips it over to Luzardo. So far, so good for Jesus Luzardo with 3 perfect innings. And through the first 3 innings of this game, neither team has a single base runner. Can't say I see this every day. Into the 4th inning now, Luis Arraez hits this one into center for a base hit. And for the first time today, we have a base runner. It took us into the 4th inning, but finally somebody was able to get a base runner. We'll see if the Marlins can do anything with Arraez aboard as Brian De La Cruz grounds it right to third for a 5-4-3 double play. Clearly, base runners are going to be at a premium today, so you've got to be clutch when they're on, and, well, that was not particularly clutch. Good work by the Dodger defense, as that'll bring Jazz Chisholm up to the plate. He's got a 1-2, and he takes a big swing and a miss. Again, the 12-6 curve has been getting these Marlins hitters hard. Tony Gonsolin allows a hit, but nothing more. Bottom 4 now, Miguel Vargas swinging a miss on the fastball. Nice pitch by Luzardo, who still has his perfect game intact. I don't want to jinx him. I know it's a little bit early, but he is dealing through 4 innings as Freeman hits this one decently well into right, but it is caught by Jorge Soler. 4 perfect innings for Jesus Luzardo in what is turning into be a really exciting pitcher's duel. Top 5, Jesus Sanchez leads off the inning for the Marlins. He's got a hitter's friendly count, and he will draw a walk, so he is aboard. And that'll bring up the catcher, Nick Fortes, the first-time All-Star this year, looking to do some more damage. Sanchez heads for second. It's a weak dribbler. Gonsolin's going to try to get the play at first, and he cannot. So Fortes is aboard. There's 2 runners on and nobody out. We'll see if the Marlins can finally get some runs in, as that'll bring up Gene Segura, who's been really good so far through the second half of the season. Segura crushes this ball into left center field at the track, at the wall. It is out of here. 3-run shot for Gene Segura. And the Marlins take a 3-0 lead here in the top of the 5th inning. Great swing from Segura to finally get some runs across. Jordan Groshans strikes out on the fastball. Nice pitch by Gonsolin as we go bottom 5. Will Smith goes down looking. Luzardo pretty much halfway through the perfect game if he keeps it going. That'll bring up Chris Taylor. He's got a 3-1 count. And that is a walk. The perfect game is dead, but the no-hitter is still alive here in the 5th inning for Jesus Sanchez. Muncy lines to third. Nice play by Segura. If he was not in the perfect positioning, that's not only a base hit, but maybe a double. Michael Busch up. He goes down looking. The perfect game is dead, but the no-hitter is alive and well through 5 innings for Jesus Sanchez. Let's go top 6. 2 away for Jazz Chisholm. He's going to hit this one well into right field. That one is stuck in the corner as the right fielder cannot make the play. Chisholm on his horse. He can do some real damage here, as it's going to be a 2-out triple for Jazz Chisholm. He's 90 feet away from home, and the Marlins have a nice opportunity to extend their lead. Chisholm's 4th triple of the year, and it's Jesus Sanchez up to the plate. He strikes out on the splitter. Gonsolin gets through the rest of the inning. and the Marlins don't drive anybody in. Bottom 6, Andy Pages hits this one well into right, and it's going to drop. The no-hitter is dead for Jesus Luzardo. He made it through 5 innings, which is really impressive, but unfortunately we will not get to witness history today. James Outman, the next batter, strikes out on the 12-6 curve, and then Gavin Lux grounds it to third. It'll be a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. The no-hitter is dead for Luzardo, but he is still dominating through 6 innings. He saw that the dud of the year could really ruin his progression, so he's trying to make sure he plays well. Yency Almonte is into the game for the Dodgers out of the bullpen here in the 7th as Fortes swings at an inside sinker. That was not a good pitch. I don't know why he swung. Gene Segura chases the slider. He swung too early. The Marlins are getting ahead of themselves. Bottom 7, Miguel Vargas grounds it down the line. Another nice defensive play by Jordan Groshans, who's done really solid defensively at first base today. Will Smith with 2 away grounds it to Luis Arraez. And Jesus Luzardo's got 7 scoreless against the Dodgers of all teams. So Miami's still ahead 3-0. Only 5 total hits today. Make it 6. Xavier Edwards singles into left. So the Marlins have a base runner to start the inning as they look to extend the lead. But that's not going to happen when you put the ball on the ground. De La Cruz grounds into another double play. This time it's a 1-6-3. That'll end the inning. Good work by Almonte. Bottom 8, Luzardo at 100 pitches. Still in the game as that one from Taylor goes above the glove of Groshans for a single. Just the second hit all night for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Max Muncy will get LA's 3rd hit of the game, a single into right. But it might not just be a single because Soler completely botches it. And the runner is going to score. And it's now 3-1. It should be first and second. Instead, it's second with a run in because of a horrible defensive play by Soler. And with that, Jesus Luzardo will be taken out of the game. What a performance from him. He had a perfect game into the 5th, a no-hitter into the 6th. He allowed 1 run through 7 1/3. That could go up to 2, depending on if this other runner scores against Jorge Alcala. I know the numbers for Jorge don't look great, but since being acquired from Minnesota, he has been pretty solid here with Miami. With 2 away, he faces off against Trace Turner, who dribbles this one to the pitcher, and Alcala makes a great play to throw the runner out at first, and it will remain 3-1 in favor of the Marlins, who do finally allow a run. Jimmy Nelson is into the game here for the Dodgers here in the 9th inning. 2.82 ERA. He's been quite solid as he faces off against Jazz Chisholm, who had a triple in his last at-bat. This time he goes down looking on the knuckle curve. Some of these off-speed pitches are really catching the Marlins off guard today. This time it's the fastball that punches out Sanchez, his 3rd strikeout of the game. Nick Fortes up, the 3-2, swinging a miss on the knuckle curve. So the Dodgers strike out the side. They're going to need 2 here in the bottom of the 9th to keep this game afloat, but they do have the top of the order up. Dylan Floro is in for the save. He's 32 for 36 in save ops this year, but I feel like he has been overall kind of inconsistent. So this game is certainly not over as Lux grounds it to short. Edwards with a really nice play, but Lux is safe as he outruns the throw. That'll bring up Miguel Vargas. Checks his swing, and he does go around for strike 3. Vargas has really good plate skills for a young guy as Freddie Freeman gets that one by Edwards for a base hit. If Edwards gets to that one quicker, it might be game over, but instead, it's runners in the corners. Tying run is aboard. Potential winning run is at the plate, and it's Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Los Angeles, with a single and a right. That'll score a run. It's 3-2. The tying run is in scoring position, and the winning run is on base. Big hit from Will Smith. Miami's going to make a pitching change. Dylan Floro is in danger of completely blowing this game apart. So the lefty A.J. Puck will come in to try to seize some of the damage. Miami still trails by 1. A ground ball still ends this game as Chris Taylor goes down looking on the circle change. Great pitch from Puck, and it comes down to Max Muncy, who hits it well into center. That'll go for a hit. The runner will look to score. He is safe, and the Dodgers tie it up at 3 with an RBI single by Muncy. The winning run is now at second base. The Marlins convincingly led this game. What happened? Michael Busch goes down looking on the circle change, and through 9, we do not have a winner. This game is going into extras. Through the games that I've played this year, I don't think we've had many into extras so far. So, of course, the runner starts on second as Jorge Soler strikes out on the knuckle curve. From there, Nelson's taken out of the game. He'll be replaced by Phil Bickford. 4.26 ERA this year as he faces off against Jordan Groshans. 0 for 3, but he's played good defense. Groshans hits this one well into center, but it will be caught. So the Dodgers don't allow any runs. All they need to do is drive in the winning run from second, and they will have this game won. The veteran Matt Barnes, the former Red Sox, is into the game for the Marlins here in the bottom of the 10th. 3.61 ERA. He started off cold, but over the last few months has been really good. David Peralta, the freight train, grounds it over to first. Groshans tags the base, but now the winning run is 90 feet away from home. If this ball is put into play, the Dodgers should win this game. Thompson strikes out on the circle change. He's not even the best Thompson in the family as he goes down on the strikeout. 2-2 for Lux. A weak dribbler to the catcher. Cortez will make the throw to first. It is in time. So neither team scores in the 10th, and we will now go into the 11th. Runners on third. It's John Birdie. 2 away for Brian De La Cruz, who hits a pitch that he shouldn't have. Grounder to third, and the Marlins offense again does nothing. Miami's offense has been dreadful today, minus the homer by Segura. Another pitching change. It's JT Chargois into the game, and he won't last long as Miguel Vargas hits this one in the gap. And this game is over. The Los Angeles Dodgers walk it off in 11 with an RBI single by the rookie, Miguel Vargas, and they win it 4-3. This is a game we had won. We were up 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jesus Luzardo was dominating, and, well, the bullpen blew it. I mean, there's really nothing else to say about that. The offense, though, was not good. Other than the 5th inning, where we had the 3-run homer by Segura, the offense was a disaster in this game. We could not hit the ball at all. Shout out to Luzardo for pitching really well, but nobody else really did too good in this game. The Dodgers' offense was not that impressive. They only had 1 hit through the first, 7 innings, but then the bullpen choked. Their bullpen, however, was really good after a pretty good start from Tony Gonsolin. So we're going to do some simming now. I know we've got some really good teams on the schedule, but we haven't played against the Nationals yet, and they are in our division, so I want to get at least one look at them this year. So we're going to simulate through this West Coast trip in LA and San Diego, and as expected, we don't do so hot. We only win 1 game, which, I mean, I didn't expect to do well. I would have hoped to have performed better. The one win, though, was very interesting. We won in 11. Sandy Alcantara allowed 6 runs, but none of them were earned. So we must have had an error in the bottom of the 7th by John Birdie, which led to the Padres scoring 6. So that'll bring us to this series here against the Nationals. And speaking of Sandy, I wanted to get an excuse to pitch with him again, so I simulate the first 2 games and we win both of them. So that'll bring us to this matchup here against the Washington Nationals at home. We're looking for the sweep. It looks dark out, but it's actually a 1:40 start time. The weather is so bad that it looks like it's nighttime outside. Obviously, we've got the dome up because, well, it's downpouring here in Miami. The Marlins are rocking their throwback jerseys as well. I know the team is doing this in real life, so I kind of wanted to incorporate that as well because they have some really good throwbacks. Here's a look at the lineup. No Nick Fortes. He's a little bit banged up, so Jacob Stallings getting the start behind the dish. As you can see, Miami looking for the sweep here against a not-so-good Washington Nationals team. They do, of course, have Justin Kramer, the developmental generational prospect who they drafted in the outfield this year. Here's Sandy Alcantara, sub-2 ERA, sub-1 whip. He's been even better than he was a year ago when he won the Cy Young. Unfortunately for him, though, Max Scherzer's having such an historic season, so Sandy's probably not going to win another Cy Young, at least this year, as Luis Garcia checks his swing on the strikeout. Let's go bottom 1. Josiah Gray is in for the Nationals. He's got a weird skill set. His walks per 9 isn't great. His hits per 9 isn't great. His home runs per 9 is horrible. But he strikes out a lot of guys. He's got nasty stuff. And overall, he's been pretty solid this year. A young guy who was acquired in the Trey Turner and Max Scherzer deal a few years back with the Dodgers. Luis Arraez leads it off for the Marlins, and he strikes out. A rare Luis Arraez strikeout. He doesn't do that too much with his 99 plate vision. That'll bring up Jazz Chisholm, trying to take advantage of Gray's low home runs per 9, and he sure will here. But there's one problem. This ball is going to curve just foul by a little over a yard, 3.8 feet. So that'll bring us to the very next pitch, which Chisholm hits again high and well into right field. Back at the track, at the wall. See ya! It's gone! So Chisholm gets the home run anyway, his 21st of the year. And the Miami Marlins are on the board here in the bottom of the 1st inning as that one barely gets out, only 382 feet. But that ball went high up into the air as he does the Euro step to home plate, looking fresh in these throwbacks. We got to wear these jerseys more often. They are so clean. Keibert Ruiz is up for the Nationals, and he singles here into left. Ruiz signed a big contract extension with the Nationals prior to the season. They view him as a foundational piece behind the plate. Michael Chavis grounds it to short. Edwards going to look to end the inning as he gets it to a rise. Over to Keston Hiura for the 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Good work by Sandy and the fellas. As we go into the bottom of the second, Keston Hiura up for the Marlins. He really has not played well since being acquired via trade with the Brewers, and he strikes out on the slider. Hiura barely hitting above 200. Not really what you want to see from him. Not that he's a contact guy. Top three, Jeimer Candelario goes down looking. The longtime Detroit Tiger goes down on the slider. That'll bring up James Wood, a big-time prospect in this organization. Hits this one into left as that one will bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. Wood was part of the massive Juan Soto package with the Padres last year, and he might be the best piece they got. If not him, maybe it's C.J. Abrams who strikes out. That'll bring up Luis Garcia. Grounds it over to Edwards, and Sandy's got 3 scoreless. The Marlins have allowed a base runner in all 3 innings so far, but nobody has scored for Washington. Good work from Alcantara, per usual. Luis Ariz hits this pitch out of the zone, but well into center, but it is caught by the big fella, James Wood, 6'7", 240 pounds. He's built like a power forward as the score remains 1-0 through 3. Into the fourth, Joey Meneses gets fooled by the outside slider. What a pitch by Sandy. Although this fan seems to think Sixto Sanchez is pitching. If you want to see Sixto, head up to AAA Jacksonville, because that's where he currently is. That'll bring up Corey Dickerson. He goes down looking on the 12-6. A 1-2-3 inning for Sandy Alcantara, who is wheeling and dealing through 4. Gene Segura leads off the bottom of the 4th strong as this one is crushed into left center. It goes off the wall. Segura into second with a double. He kind of started the season off slowly, but ever since the All-Star break, as I mentioned earlier in the Dodger game, Gene Segura has been playing really, really well. Jazz Chisholm up next for the Marlins. He homered in his first at-bat today, and he'll draw a walk here in this one. Chisholm's been a little bit inconsistent since coming back from his injury, but it's good to see him off to a nice start today. That'll bring up Jesus Sanchez now. He's got a 2-2, and he goes down looking. That pitch did not look like it was in the zone, but Sanchez strikes out. It was in the zone. It was a really good pitch by Josiah Gray. That'll bring up Brian De La Cruz. Hits this one into right, and the catch is not made by Meneses. The runner is going to look to head home at Segura, and it's going to be close, but he is out of there. So the Marlins do have 2 runners in scoring position, but Segura is unable to score, and now Jordan Groshans is going to have to drive these guys in. He's got a full count, hits this one well over to second, but Garcia will make the play. So Josiah Gray is able to get out of the jam. He's been pitching pretty well through 4 innings, only allowing the 1 run from Chisholm. Into the 5th now, Keibert Ruiz grounded to short. Xavier Edwards deflects it, but Ruiz is still safe at first for a leadoff single. That'll bring up Michael Chavis. He's bounced around in the majors over the last few years. Hits this one into right, and that one will go fair for extra bases as it's stuck in the corner. Ruiz will look to score, and Chavis will make it over to third. So it's an RBI triple. The Nationals tie it at 1, and they should be able to take the lead pretty easily. Jeimer Candelario puts this ball into play. Hiura makes the catch, and the runner will not be able to score. That'll bring up James Wood now. Again, just got to put it in play, and he does all right with a single into left field. De La Cruz slow to get over to it. I know I've hinted at it a lot recently, but Brian De La Cruz's reaction time in the outfield is so bad in games that I play. I don't know why. C.J. Abrams singles into left, and Sandy's starting to get rocked a little bit. This young Nationals lineup is making some plays. That'll bring up Luis Garcia. He strikes out on the sinker. Nice pitch by Alcantara, who needed to get a strikeout, trying to get his groove back. And he would make it through the rest of the inning, but the Nationals now lead it 2-1. Keston Hiura up in the bottom of the 5th as he hits this one well in a right field. Back at the track at the wall. This one's going to be close, and it is gone into the right field corner. Keston Hiura with a solo shot, and this game is tied up at 2. Hiura's been a little bit disappointing with the Marlins, but it is good to see his power there, his 3rd homer of the season. A couple batters later, it's Xavier Edwards now facing off against Pat Corbin, who has just checked into the game as Edwards gets hit. We'll see if this pitching change is able to do anything for either team. Josiah Gray was pitching well, minus the home runs he allowed. Luis Ariz singles into left center. So the Marlins are getting multiple base runners early. Maybe they should have kept Josiah Gray into the game, as that'll bring up Gene Segura, who is really good against lefties, but he's going to ground it into a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. The Marlins score 1, but no more. The homer by Hura, all they get. Into the sixth now, Alcantara with a weak dribbler from Keibert Ruiz, and it'll be a 1-2-3 inning. The plan was for Sandy to go 6, but that inning went so quickly, the Marlins might try to keep him for one more inning. We'll see if they're going to do that with his pitch count right around 100. Brian De La Cruz up here in the bottom of the sixth. He struggles against lefties, but he does hit that one well. However, it will be caught. Pat Corbin pitching pretty well, which is a rarity for him ever since he signed that gigantic contract with the Nationals. Sandy's still in the game here in the seventh, and that might be a mistake because Jeimer Candelario hits this one high and deep and gone. Chisholm unable to make the play, and the Nationals are back on top, 3-2. The Marlins tried to get one more inning out of Sandy, and it's going to cost him. He allows the homer. He'll be taken out of the game. Steven Okert, the lefty, will replace him. 3.56 ERA as he gets Abrams to go down looking, and the Nationals will get no further damage, but they do score the one with the homer by Candelario. Hunter Harvey is now in for the Nationals here in the bottom of the seventh. A former highly regarded prospect with the Orioles organization has gone to a bullpen role and has been solid this year with the Nats. Groshans reaches first safely after a throwing error from the shortstop Abrams. So he is aboard. That'll bring up the catcher Jacob Stallings, of course getting the start today with Nick Fortes dealing with a minor injury. Stallings hits this one high and deep into right field. This one's got a chance at the wall, and it is gone! Two-run homer for Jacob Stallings, just his second of the year, and the Marlins are back on top 4-3. 364 feet for Stallings. This game would be tied if not for the error, so that really costed the Nationals as Miami is now ahead. Big swing from Stallings, taking advantage of his opportunity with the main starter Fortes being injured. Luis Garcia opens up the eighth with a base hit, so he is aboard for the Nationals. That'll bring up Joey Meneses. He strikes out. From there, Steven Okert's actually going to be taken out of the game, and Matt Barnes will come in. He's continuing to get that ERA down after a rough start, as it's now at 3.43. This one is hit well by Dickerson into right, but it will be caught by Jesus Sanchez, and the Marlins hold on to their lead 4-3 as we go into the bottom of the eighth inning. We'll see if Miami can extend the lead against the lefty Sean Doolittle. The Nationals are really focusing on matchups here because Sanchez, Chisholm, and De La Cruz were all due up, and they all struggle against lefties. It's Sanchez here with two away. He hits this one high into center, but it looks like it will be caught. So the Marlins know what they've got to do. They're up by one, going into the ninth inning. Dylan Floro's blown a lot of saves in games that we've played in throughout the series, including the game earlier today against the Dodgers. Hopefully he doesn't blow this one. Michael Chavis hits this ball high and deep into left center field. Are you kidding me? That one is gone. Another blown save for Dylan Floro. Why does he do this? This game is now tied at 4 with the homer from Chavis. Another blown save from Dylan Floro. And it's going to get worse as Jeimer Candelario hits this one into right field. This one looks like it'll go for extra bases, and the Nationals have the potential go-ahead run in scoring position. They've got a great opportunity to not just tie, but take the lead. James Wood hits it into left, and it's barely foul. If that ball was fair, Washington's ahead. The 2-2 for Wood, and he will still hit it well. Xavier Edwards with a backhanded throw, and it is not in time. So now there's 2 runners aboard, and Dylan Floro's got to come out of the game. Why does he do this? Why does he consistently wet the bed in the ninth inning? A.J. Puck is in instead, as this one is dribbled from Abrams over to first. Hira tags the base, but is unable to get a double play. So now there's 2 out. 2 runners in scoring position. Garcia grounds it to third. Segura will make the play, and the Marlins get out of the inning. They only allow 1. That could have gone a lot worse, but it would have been nice for Miami to not have a super dramatic ending for once. Anthony Castro's into the game here in the ninth. His ERA is above 9. You know, he should technically allow a run this inning. And there you go. Jordan Groshans gets a base hit, and he is now on base. So the Marlins have the potential winning run right there at first. John Birdie will enter the game as a pinch runner. Next up is Keston Hiura. He homered earlier in the game. Birdie's going to look to swipe second, and there's no throw from Keibert Ruiz. So the winning run is in scoring position, and it's the speedster John Birdie, who's got 91 speed and 99 steals. He's going to look to go for third. Hiura strikes out, but there's now a runner at third base. So we'll see if the Marlins can drive them in. With 2 away, it's Jacob Stallings, who homered in his last at-bat. He's got a 3-2. Stallings hits this one well into right center, but it will be caught. And we are going into extra innings for both games today. You want some extra baseball? Well, here you go. We had the Dodger game go into 11 innings, and this one's going into extras as well. J.T. Chargois is into the game here as he faces off against Joey Meneses, who grounds it to first. Nice play by Hira. Runner advances to third, though. That'll bring up Alex Call, the cleanup man, grounds it to short. The infield was playing in, so the runner will not look to head home. That's Luis Garcia at third. He's got average speed at around 51. Corey Dickerson pops it up into foul territory. Stallings will make the play. Good job by Chargois to not allow any runs, and now the Marlins can walk it off here in the bottom of the 10th. Kyle Finnegan is into the game for the Nats. Xavier Edwards strikes out on the inside slider, frustrated with himself. That'll bring up Luis Arraez. He singles into center. That could end it. Stallings originally headed home. If he didn't have one speed, he would have scored. The Marlins can't put a pinch runner in, though, because they don't have any other healthy catchers on the roster. That'll bring up Gene Segura, who hits this one into right. It is caught. Stallings will look to head home, and the throw is not in time. The Marlins walk it off with a sacrifice fly from Gene Segura as they win this game 5-4 and sweep the Washington Nationals. We had both games going to extras today, and both of them ended up with walk-offs. I know a sac fly isn't the most exciting walk-off, but it's a walk-off nonetheless. 4 runs, 12 hits for the Nats. They got plenty of base runners throughout this game. They just weren't super clutch, really up until the end, minus the 10th inning. Josiah Gray was pretty good. He allowed 2 homers, but other than that was strong. As for us, the offense was fine. We did score 5 runs, but only 8 hits and only 1 walk. Not a lot. Sandy Alcantara pitched pretty well. The bullpen was also solid, other than Dylan Floro, who loves blowing games, apparently. So we're going to do a lot of simming now. We're going to simulate through the end of August, and then these first few series in September, making it through this series against the Phillies. Avisail Garcia is healthy, so Herrera Encarnacion will go back down to AAA. Now that we're in September, we got to have 28 guys on the active roster. We're going to bring up Taylor Trammell. He's been playing very well over the last month or two in AAA, so we're going to give him an opportunity here in the big leagues and see what he's got. Chichi Gonzalez will be the other player who is called up. He's only a 60 overall. Once upon a time, he was a top prospect with the Texas Rangers. Things did not really work out, as you can tell by the numbers, but he has been having a pretty good season in AAA, 2.16 ERA, mainly as the long reliever. He's an innings eater and will likely enter our bullpen for the final month of the year. Victor Mesa Jr. tears his MCL in AAA, is out for the year. That's unfortunate because he was playing really well. He could be a candidate for our minor league stud of the year because he's been really producing with an OPS nearing 800 and a 297 batting average. I guess he still could win the minor leaguer of the year, but he's not going to be able to play this last month. So during our sim, we did not do very well. We're now 68 and 75 here going into the final 3 or so weeks of the regular season. Before we wrap up today's episode, though, I do want to go over some candidates for the players of the year, whether it's a stud of the year and a dud of the year for both the majors and the minors, just so we don't go into it next episode without any further context. It won't matter how many hitters or pitchers we put up for the votes, and that's worth noting because there aren't a lot of good candidates in the lineup, good or bad. Most of these guys have not exceeded expectations or gone below expectations. Maybe Nick Fortes, he's been one of the better hitting catchers in baseball. Gene Segura has been really good lately, so maybe he gets a nod. Jazz Chisholm, when healthy, has been really good this year, although, again, we kind of expected him to be good. I don't really know what to do with these young outfielders, Brian De La Cruz and Jesus Sanchez, who both have improved from last year, but I wouldn't really say they've exceeded expectations. I don't really know about Luis Arraez either. He's been a little bit disappointing, but he's still hitting 300, so there really aren't many good candidates, good or bad, in the lineup. For pitching, it's a little bit easier. Trevor Rogers has been a lot better than he was last year, and Edward Cabrera has definitely exceeded expectations. I think both of them probably will be in the running for player of the year, for stud of the year. Jesus Luzardo will probably be in the running for dud of the year. Dylan Floro probably as well. He's been disappointing. And then other than that, there aren't many super obvious candidates for me in the bullpen. As for the minor leagues, it's a little bit easier. There are 2 very strong candidates for stud of the year. You've got Jacob Berry in AA, who is raking. We'll go into more detail about him in the next episode because we're going to talk a lot about the AA team. And then Gennaro Miller as well, the two-way player who has been dominant as a pitcher and really good offensively as well. It's kind of like the Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani dilemma all over again with those 2. Some other candidates include Khalil Watson. He is second amongst players in the International League in batting average, but he only has 1 home run, so I don't really know if I want to include him or not. In AAA, Victor Mesa Jr. is a good option. Luis Matos was really good, but that was mostly not with our team. That was mostly with the Giants. Joe Rizzo's been really good. And then for some duds of the year, Jake Magnum hasn't been all that good. Jacob Miller's been kind of disappointing in Double-A. I'm not going to put Yuri Perez on because he pitched well in Double-A, but in Triple-A, he hasn't been all that good. Although he's been better over his last few starts, and because of that, I don't think he's going to be a candidate for either stud or dud of the year. Garrett Hampson's hitting for good power, but he's not hitting for good contact. Peyton Burdick hasn't been all that good. Huascar Brazoban has also been kind of bad as well. And then you've got guys like Patrick Montverde and George Soriano who have also not been all that good out of the bullpen as well. As it stands now, we are 68 and 75. We are out of contention for the National League East, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a wild card spot, barring a miracle. So because of that, unless we go on some crazy run in the next episode, that will be the final episode of season number 1. The Double-A team will likely make the playoffs, so we're going to be focusing on them quite a bit in the next episode as well, along with rounding out the Major League season, which we've got around 5 or 6 more series left to go. We'll be taking a trip down to the farm as well. The Triple-A team is 69 and 69. Nice. But that's probably not good enough for a playoff spot. The Double-A team, however, won the division in the first half and the second half of the year, so I'm not entirely sure what that means for us going into the Double-A playoffs, but that's probably a good thing. So we're going to the playoffs, which we will cover in the next episode with Double-A Pensacola. That'll wrap up today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of my stud of the year and dud of the year idea. I'm open to critiquing the idea a little bit before the next episode, which is probably when the vote is going to be, because I want to have the reveal in the off-season episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.